So I want to do this little informational video on a starter clutch upgrade for a CB1100, CB900, and CB750. The majority of the systems are the same. You can't interchange individual pieces, which I found out, which is something that we'll go into a little bit. But you can swap out entire mechanisms. So if your CB1100 starter clutch failed, you could grab one off of CB900 or probably even the CB750, and the entire mechanism would swap over. The teeth count is the same, and the spline count for the crank is the same as well. But there is a shortcoming to these systems. Again, these were built in the 80s and probably even late 70s. These starter mechanisms. There is a downfall to them, and we'll go into that right now and what these upgrade is for. So if you remove this flange plate, you have this plate below it that has these rollers in it. And these rollers are actually what lock the gear. Only goes one way. Now, the failure point on this one was right here. You can actually see there's a crack in it. That crack is allowing this one to spin free much easier than it should. They shouldn't spin free at all, but this one is actually spinning free very easily. And this is out of an 83 CB1100F. This is a one-year-only motorcycle. Kind of cool, and the guy that I'm working on this for, when he noticed this crack, parked the bike over 2 years ago, and it was kind of sad. So when I found out about it, I'm trying to get him back on the road. So I did some research because I was going to order him a new piece to get it back up, and found out this plate is discontinued. This flange plate is discontinued. Not that I need this flange plate, but it is a discontinued piece. These rollers are available. The little piston things behind with the springs are also available. Those are replaceable. They are a wear item. You can get them. But this piece that I need for sure, because it's cracked, I need a new one, and you can't get them anymore. Now, like I said before, I could have just ordered one of these, which is actually what I did. I did order one of these off of a CB900. I ordered this for a different reason. We'll go into that, but I ordered this for a different reason. But this whole mechanism would go right back into the CB1100, and he'd be functional again, and it wouldn't be an issue. Normally there's 3 bolts that bolt these on both of these. If you have 3 bolts, I already got them out. Downside to this one, it's the same exact mechanism. So you're going to run into the same problem where, either these are going to wear, like they do, because they are a wear item, or if you have a failure like this, you'll probably get a failure on this one too. I know these are very common problems to fail. So I did some research for them, and I did find some other videos. I'm not the first person to do a video like this on this starter gear and starter clutch upgrade. But I did want to some of the differences I saw when I was doing it myself. So I don't want to use this plate again. These are discontinued. I don't want to use this plate anyway. So I'm going to get rid of this one as well. If you look at the differences in these 2 gears, you have your CB1100 is cut out here a little bit bigger. You've got a whole bunch of holes here. This has got more material here and more material here. Only reason I can think of being Honda, this CB1100F is a sport bike, and they wanted it to be sporty and rev a little quicker. So by lightening up some of these parts, they can make the bike rev a little quicker. Where the CB900 really wasn't, they really didn't care about it that much as far as its high revving. But kind of the crazy thing is doing this upgrade I want to do, you have to drill a couple more holes in here. Again, it's a very simple upgrade, but you have to drill a few more holes. And I was concerned with all the holes that are already in here that I would weaken this plate. And this plate does take a lot of torque, so and I was concerned that I would actually crack it, out here. So I figured I'd just order the CB900 flange plate and the upgrade bearing and just drop it in there. problem I found out is, though, that while these two fit nicely into each other, that does not fit into there, and this doesn't fit into that one. Kind of crazy. Don't know why Honda does some of these strange things where it's such a minor. I mean, we're talking millimeters of difference there, but whatever. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to pretty much get rid of this whole 1100F starter system and use the 900 system. But the cool thing is again, other people have found this out, is that a 2000-2001 era Yamaha R6 has this really cool one-way bearing. So this is pretty much takes the place of this one-way bearing. Look completely different. This is 3 points of contact. This I do believe has 21 points of contact or something like that. And it's designed to do the same work, but this is a little bit more modern. So and also the cool thing is it fits directly onto the Honda gear with no modification whatsoever. So this goes one way, it does not turn the other way. Kind of cool. And again, there's 6 holes in here. A lot of people will mount this up here. They will oval out these 3 holes and make them line up, and they'll be okay with that. And I would say probably 9 times out of 10 it probably works, and it's probably not an issue. But I do know also that these 3 bolts tend to back themselves out on the factory setup, and that's a problem when if you have one back out and it gets shredded in the engine, and then you have a whole bunch of metal particles that drop right into your oil pan and get circulated through the engine, and that's never a good thing. So what I've seen people talk about, and what I'm going to do myself is I'm going to drill all 6 holes and mount this flange plate with 6 bolts. I've seen a couple people have some different techniques of getting these holes marked on the back of this flange plate, because it's not super easy, because you can't get to them from the back. You can't just throw that on there and get to those holes. So this is what I did. Again, this is just, one of the reasons I'm doing this video is just an easier, what I thought was an easier way of doing this. I got some double-sided tape. It's just standard 3M double-sided tape. And I cut little pieces of them and stuck them to the gear. It really doesn't matter where you do it. I don't know, this is how I did 3 points of it. Could probably do 2. I just stuck them down. And then taking way longer than I expected to do. Okay. Points of 3. Okay. Then I took and I marked between bolt holes. So I sort of sectioned off 2, 2, and 2 with a Sharpie marker, where I knew that I would be able to see the holes through it. And I lined it up and I dropped my flange plate right on top there so you could see the Sharpie through the 3 holes, and sort of pressed it on there real lightly. Doesn't take much pressure. Once it was on there, pull the flange plate and the bearing off. Now you know you're centered, at least close enough for what this is going to take. Then I took a very sharp punch, because I had nothing to reach down as far as I could down inside these holes. Took a very sharp punch, and I etched the flange plate from this side as best as I could. Once that was done, I was able to take the bearing off, remove my double-sided tape, and in those etchings that I made, I took that same sharp punch and I center punched the 6 holes that I was needing to do. Then I will drill those 6 holes and mount it to this bearing. I am lucky that I have got, since I bought 2 systems, or actually I have the original off the 1100, and I bought the 900 system. I have 6 of these bolts. These are low profile heads that Honda uses, so they don't hit the engine case. I have 6, so I will be good. They are 8 by 8.25 by 16 millimeter. You can get these, not these exact bolts, but you can get very similar through, I know Fastenal has them. They have an Allen head that I'm pretty sure that they're grade 8 bolts. I'm going to use red Loctite whenever you fasten these things down, and it should work fantastic. Well, again, from what I've read and you know, the forums I've read, this is going to be a fantastic upgrade for this guy's bike, and you know, it should work out really well. And I'll get some video or some pictures once it's installed so you can see how well that worked. Thanks for watching.